Hello and welcome back. So today we are going to continue building our application right here, and we are going to start creating our background services. So I'm going to cancel these background services here, and let's see what we are going to build in our background services. Also, I'm going to create a note here. So this one, we are going to have the second part here, which is background services. So let me write here background services like that, and then I'm going to have different services here. So I'm going to have different services, or let me start here by we are going to look at how to schedule task, because we are going to schedule task to send emails. For example, we are going to have a service that will keep checking for our database for a newly created user and email have not been sent to them. That means that that user will have a status of 0, and then when my background services will send the email, then it will change the status of that user to 1. So the next time that that services is running through the database, it will find that that user already has a status of 1, and that means that they have been sent an email, and it will not send an email. So this is like a small backend, and I see most of the tutorial in YouTube, they don't cover this concept of background services, which I feel also is very important because it can automate some task. And the same thing that happens when you want to, for example, back up your database at maybe at midnight every day. So also here now we are going to look at how to create a reusable send mail function like that. If you have watched my other tutorials already, or the other project that I have built on YouTube, you'll be able to understand this function that I create here that is reusable. So before that, also I want to first of all push my code to GitHub. So I'm going to come here and let me see the branch that I'm in right now. So I'm in backend branch here, and I'm going to push the code right now to backend because that is the part that we finished the last time, and then I'm going to create a new branch that is called background services. So here I'm going to say git add. So git add every changes that we did in our last video, and then I'm going to do git branch or git commit, and then -m here. I'm going to add something like completed backend. So we completed the backend here, and let's push this code. So git push origin and then backend like that. So I'm going to enter my passphrase, and after that then we can be able to see the pull request. So we need to visit my GitHub here. So let's see. So my GitHub, and then see if we have any pull request. So my repos are here. So let me just come here, and in this beauty store here, you can see it has been updated right now. We need to see if there's any notification of which it is here. Backend had recent pushes 21 seconds ago. So I'm going to compare and pull request right here, and we can create pull request, and then we are going to merge. So right now it will be checking for ability to merge automatically, and after that I can merge pull request and confirm merge. Now it will merge my backend branch with my master branch, which is our main branch. So I'm going to continue here also, and what I'm going to do right here now is to create a new branch that is called, we are going to call background services. So I'm going to just call it B service, but B means background, and we have services which is now background services. So if I do that and I do git branch here, you'll be able to see that now we have a service that is called B service. So I'm going to switch to that branch because we are going now to work on the background services. So I'm going to say git checkout and then B service, because we are going to switch to background services like that. So if I do git branch again, you'll be able to see that my background services is now highlighted using green, and we can now work on that services. So I think that is what I wanted to show you right now. Let me close this part here. So here we have, let me just close this part here. And I think that's okay. Now we can proceed in our code here, and in our code here we are going to now work on our background services. And to do that, I'm going to open a new terminal right here on my bottom right, and I'm going to proceed to background. So background here, background services like that. And let me clear this. So in my background services here, I'm going to just paste, or just make sure that I initialize node application, so I can use npm-y like that, and then I can just make sure that I npm init and then -y, then I can initialize my application. So if I do that, you'll be able to see that I have generated a new, you can see here I have generated a new package called JSON, package.json, and I'm going to have index.js just the same way we did with our backend. So like that, then here I need to change some things. So I need to change this to be having a type of module. So type here, I want the type to be module, not common.js, so that we can use import. And I think I can close this now, because I don't think we need anything right now from there. So, and then I'm going to push this up here and install some packages. So the first package that I'm going to install is Express, of course. I'm going to have node mailer, because that is the package that you are going to use to send emails. And another package that I'm going to have is EJS, so that we can send templated emails. And also we can have things like mongoose .env. And I think the other one that I'm going to have is I'm going to have cron, or what we are calling node cron, because this one will help us to send emails. So this is a package that actually to schedule tasks, sorry. So I'm going to install this, and in here also I need to have several things. Inside background services, we are going to have models, because remember these models here is the models that we have for our from our backend, because this is the same database that we are going to use. So we are going to have models right here. I'm going to have helpers, and helpers is where I'm going to have a reusable function, for example, send mail function. And I think we can have util, where we are going to have functionality for connecting to a database, or any other util that we can have in our this background services. So I'm going to cross everything here like that, and let me open now index.js. I'm going to start programming here now. So the first thing that I'm also going to create here is a .env file. So here I'm going to specify port number. So my port number here is 8001, because we cannot run two services in the same port. That will not work, because already we are running another service in port 8000, which is our backend, and now I'm going to run our background services in port 8001. So I'm going to need DB. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to copy DB. So let me just come here, and because we are connecting to the same DB, and I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to copy this like that. This is our MongoDB, and I'll place it here like that. And then, and this is because if you check in our system that we built here, you can see our backend and our background services, they are connected to the same database here. They are sharing the same database. That's why you can see we have actually copied now the database. We have copied the database from our from our backend, that is. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to open this index.js. I'm going to add here to import express, and we are going to import express from express. I'm going to create a function here, or an app, sorry, I'm going to create an app from express like that. I'm going also to import here .env. So import .env, and this one is from the package .env, .env. And then the other thing that I need to do is to config. So .env.config like that. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have app.reason. So here I'm going to have a process.env, or I can just create a port up here. So let's have a port first of all. So const port, and this one will be from process, will be process.env and then .port like that. And here I can specify now the port. So the port and callback function. So we have callback function here. So console.log, and here I'm going to say server is running on port. Here I cannot be able to see, so I'm going to add here the variable now of the port. So I need to see if my application is running, or my background services. So I'm going to add, or to use nodebound and index.js. We are running the same way we ran our backend, and you can see right here server is running on port 8001, and that means that it's working fine. So here in the utils, then I need to create a db.js file, and we are going to copy everything from our backend, because we are going to connect the same to our database. So here we have util here, and then we have db.js. So I'm going to copy everything like that, and then I'm going to, this is util here, so I'm going to actually let me close this one here and open this here db, and then paste everything here. So it's just the same thing. So, and then I'm going to cross to just call now the db here. So db connection, if I do that, so let me db connection, you can be able to see it there. I can import it and call that function. You can be able to see here we have this db connection, and because I'm using modern, I need to add here .js, because it will not work if I don't use .js here, since I'm using a type of Node.js called module. So if I save now, you'll be able to see server is running on port 8000 and database is connected successfully. So now that means now we are connected in the same database. So we can be able to access data using our background services from our database. So now the other thing that I want us to look at is scheduling task. So here I'm going to push this code, or this part down like that, and here I can say schedule services, schedule services. So in this case also you can think of how you set an alarm, and you set it to run at any time of the day that you want. So the same works with our background services. We are going to set our alarm to be able to run after some time. So in our case, because we don't have a lot of time, we are going to set it to run after maybe a second, so that we can see the results. And also we can be able to schedule after any time that we want, any time of the day. So I'm going to come up here and open what we call node cron. So I'm going to open node cron here, and documentation, you can be able to see you need to install this. Already we have installed this package, and here you can be able to see how to use it. For example, you need to create a variable called cron and import this node cron here. After that, you can be able to schedule this using this asterisk here. The first argument is this asterisk, and this asterisk here represent different time of the day. So for example, you can see this asterisk, the first one here represent second, the other one here represent minute, the other one here represent hour, the other one day of month, and so on. And we can continue right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import cron from node cron. So import cron, and I'm going to import it from node cron. So I had already installed this node cron module. So after that, now we can create a function here that is called run. So I'm going to have a function called, or let me just call it services. So services, I think that is appropriate, and this one will be just function, narrow function, and then inside here now we can set our how we want our services to run after how long. So if I come back, if I come here, and you can be able to see that this function here we run is running every minute 1, 2, 4, and 5. So let me check for the other one. Like for this one here, you can see this one is services is running a task every minute. So after every minute, then it will run this service. So we can copy this, and I want you to notice something. We have this 5 asterisk here, and that's why you can see it is running after every minute, because this the fifth one here represent a minute, but if you add another asterisk here, that means it is running after a second. So I'm going to copy this here. Let me copy that, and I'm going to paste it inside here like that. I'm going to save or format my code, and then I can call let me just add asterisk here, so that I want this service to run after a second, because we don't need to stay here and wait for this service to run after 1 minute. That is a lot of time that we would have been doing another thing. So here I'm going to call services function like that, and now let's see if I save this, and you'll be able to see. Actually, let me just make sure that I add here services second, then it is running after second, every second. So if I save this and push this up here, and you can see now running a task every second. You can see it is running after every second. And if we change, for example, you remove this asterisk here and then save again here, you'll be able to see that it will run after every minute, but we will not wait for that. So you can learn how to schedule tasks in our website that is called Crontab Guru. So here I'm going to just remove this console for now, and we are going to run services. So where you can practice to schedule tasks is we have a website that is called Crontab Guru, this one here, and you'll be able to see how to schedule tasks right here. So you can see these are 5 right here, and you can see for this one here is the day, this is the month, this is the day, an hour, minute, something of the sort. So for example, let's add here divide by 5 like that. You can see this one will be running every 5th minute. So let's add here, for example, 5, and you can see if I add that 5 like that, it's running at 5 minute 5 like that. Also, we can just come here and add 8. So you'll be able to see at minute 5 on the day of the month 8. So I think now you are getting hang of it. So I think here, for example, we can add and just like that. So this one will be running after every minute. So if I come here, let's say, for example, this is the day of the week. So if I say, for example, 3, you can see it. This service will be running every minute on Wednesday. So you can see how to schedule this. So if I add here, let's say something like this is the month. So we want it to run, for example, which month? I think January. So you'll be able to see that this service here will be able to run every minute on Wednesday in January, like that. So also you can specify the day of the month. So here, for example, date 15. So at every minute on day of 15 and on Wednesday in January, this service will be running. And here we can be able to add even the hour. So for the example hour here, we can say, let's say, for example, 20 past 20 past 20 on the day of a month 15 and on Wednesday in January. So you can just exercise using these services or this website here, and you'll be able to understand. So let me just close these two tabs here, and we can continue with our background services. So another thing that I want us to cover is to run to create a or to how to just send an email. So in this case now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function here. I need to create a function, and this one will be after this sendmail.js, like that. And here we can be able to create a function. So I'm going to import here the node mailer. So node mailer from node mailer, and like that. So I think I had already installed node mailer, but I cannot be able to see. Oh yeah, actually it is here, node mailer. And the other thing that I want to import is .env. So .env right here, import from .env, and then here we can have import. Let's add here what we can be able to add here, import. Oh, let me just do .env config like that. And then after that, I can be able to create a function called sendMail here. So before that, let me do some things. So when you're sending an email, you want to make sure that you have app password for that email and also that email, and we are going to specify them in my .env here. So here we are going to have the email like that, and I'm going to have the password, and this is app password, not the regular password that you use to log into your email. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to open my email. So this email, but I want to use a different email. So to send the email, so I'm going to open another email that I want to send emails using this email. So, and then here there are some things that you need to do. So for example, I need to come here and manage this. So manage this account, and I'm going to security here. So for the security here, I need first of all to make sure that I have added two-step verification. This is the first thing that you need to do to your email that you want to send email using. So here I need also to come here and search for app password. So you can see app password up there, and after that you need to add the password, your password that you use to log into your email. Then we can proceed. Let's see now here. So here you can see I had created already another password here for my other application that is called Bridge. So here I want to actually delete some of them, or I can just add here. So my application here is called Beauty Breeze, like that, and I can click here on create. So if I do that, you can be able to create this password here, and this password is now a password for my email. So I'm going to copy this and click on done. Here I'm going to specify this like that, and remove the spaces that I have here. So remember to remove these spaces. So this is the app password that we need. So another thing that we need is we need to come up here and copy now the email. So I know the email, so this one is taking a lot of time. So let me just leave it like that. So I'm going to specify my email because already I know the email that I'm going to use. This is more alok mondala 199 at gmail.com. So this is one of my emails. So I'm going to add it in my .env, and now inside now this send mail here we can proceed. So first of all, let me create what we called a transporter. So let's create a function called create transporter like that, and this one is a function that will take in the configurations, which we are going to call config, and after that inside here we need to create transporter and return that transporter. So transporter like that, and this one we are going to create it from node mailer and create transporter. So create transporter function here, and we need to make sure that we pass in the config. So after that, now we can return. This one is just to create transporter and return it. So return transporter like that, and I'm going to format my code. Let me format this code. I don't want a lot of that space. So here I need to create my configurations that I'm going to pass in this function. So my configurations here, I'm going to have them in my object. So configurations here, this is just the normal configuration. For example, the service that we are going to use, I'm going to use a service for Gmail right here. So you need to follow every step that I do right here. So the host here, need to specify the host. For this case, I'm going to use smtp.gmail and then .com. And another thing that I'm going to have here is the port. So the port that I'm going to use is 587. And also I can use require TLS. So require TLS here, TLS, which we should be true. And then now the other thing that we need to have is another object here, and this object is called auth. And in my auth here, I need to specify email or user. First of all, the user is my email. So this one I'm going to say process.env and then .email. So remember the email that we have specified in our password. In our .env, sorry. So here I need to specify the pass, or which is my password. So this one is process.env and then dot password. Let me check if it is like that. So yeah, password. So after that, I think now we have our configurations. So let me create now the reusable function. So here we are going to have my arrow function called send mail, and after that this one we are going to have as a sync like that, and here we are going to be able to export this. So export the default, and we are going to export this send mail. We are going to export default send mail here. So now the other thing that I'm going to do in here is I'm going to have a transporter, and this one we are going to say await, and we are going to create transporter and configuration. We are going to pass in the configurations, so we need to pass in configurations here. So configurations like that, and here we need to now call this function create transporter here and pass in the configurations. So configurations, actually this one is actually this is message options, not configurations, sorry for that. So message option, and here you are going to pass in now the configurations. So now after that we are going to wait and verify. So let's verify. So you can see this configuration, we have passed in them here, and then now we are going to call transporter, and then the transporter we are going to verify our transporter like that. So we are going to verify after let me add here await. So that means we need to have a sync, of which I have added right here. So here, and then you can see we are verifying after we pass in the configurations. Now it will be going and checking if these are correct, and then after that, now after it has verified this, now we can send email. So we are going to have to use transporter again, but in our transporter now we have a function that is called send mail like that, and then here we need to pass in now the message option like that we pass in this send mail function here. And then when we pass these message options, then we can have either the error or we can have the info here like that. So the info is just the ID of it's just the ID, include the ID of the email that has been sent, because every email that is being sent has a unique ID. So this is just like a callback function. So I'm going to say if error. So if we have error, then I want to console log that error. So I'm going to console.log error, and if else we don't, or I can just come here and console log the info.response. So yeah, I'm going to console log here info. So my info.response, so like that. Yeah, so this response is just an ID of the email that has been sent. So when it console log this ID here, you know that email has been sent. So like that, I think there's nothing. I think now that's okay now. So we don't, I don't think there's any other thing that we need to do right here. So I have created this send mail here, and we are going to start using it in the other videos. So I'm going to close this part here. So let me close this file and these files here. Let me check if my background services is still running smoothly. So let me come here. Yeah, still running here. And also let me close this. So for this one, I want to check for index.js here, and my schedule task here is already or is still working. So everything is okay now. What we are going to do is let's push our code to my GitHub. So git branch, and right now we are in this branch called b service, and because we know that, I'm going to just add the changes that we have done, and then I'm going to commit. Here I'm going to say I've added as background services. Say background services as schedule task, and send mail function like that. And then I'm going to push. So git push origin and then b services like that, and then I can be able to enter my passphrase. So let me add it here, and then now we need to have pushed our code. If I come to my GitHub, let me open my GitHub again. So also you can be able to follow my GitHub so that you can see other projects that I have built. So I'm going to come to Ripple, and here we have beauty store. After that, now we are going to have a notification up here. So compare again and pull request, and also we can create pull request here. It's checking for ability to merge, and after that now we can merge and confirm merge. So that is it. I don't want also this video to be longer than this. So remember to like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and don't forget to don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you'd be notified the next time I upload a new video. See you on the other video. Have a great day.